Awesome. Hello, you guys. We are so excited for tonight's training. This is something that I think is going to be super applicable, whether you're brand new in the business or you've been here for a long time. This is just how to utilize what we already have at our fingertips. And I think sometimes with the task list, we get in such a habit of like checking the boxes off, but maybe it's not producing the results that we're wanting, and it can leave you a little bit frustrated. I know I've had tons of times in my business where I'm like, what the heck? I'm doing all the things, but like no one's even seeing these posts. Like, what can I do to pivot? So we're going to talk about that. This is like nothing, crazy that's going to blow your mind. This is like simple things that honestly we have learned from hopping onto Zooms, from talking to other leaders, from talking to each other, from asking you guys, like, what are you doing that's working? So even you just being here today, I am so grateful for all of you for hopping on, even just like being in the room with these like simple tips. You're going to add on to them and you're going to teach them back to us. So this is what we hope tonight will be. Yeah, and we're just going to talk about pivoting, tasks, all the things. So I'm just going to dive into it. And anytime if you guys have questions, put them in the chat and we can answer them as well. Like, this can be totally open. But I really wanted to talk about when you're not getting the results that you want from the tasks that you're doing, what do you do? Like, what is the first step? I would say the first step, if you're like doing a task every single day and not getting the results, is reach out to your enroller, see who you're linked with, who you're holding hands with, linking arms with, all the things that you're doing this business with, because chances are they've probably experienced it already if they've been in longer than you, and they can walk you through it. So that's what we're going to talk about, because I think that the tasks only produce when you fully utilize the task, if that makes sense. So for example, if every single day I'm putting up host posts, but I'm not boosting those host posts, I'm not interacting with the comments, I'm going to get about half of what I could if I do these simple tasks. So grab a notebook. If you're watching a recording, still grab a notebook, grab a pen, and write these down. And if you guys have anything that works for you too, please share it with us, because I feel like that's so important. So when things aren't working, it's important to pivot, but I feel like sometimes we don't know how to. And especially when we first start, a very simple thing to say is like, okay, that just didn't work for me. Like, I tried it and it didn't work. But if you were, let's say you worked retail, if your boss, this has happened to me before, not that I didn't figure it out, but they've asked, when you work retail, they say, can you go put up these shelves and we're going to use them to display different items? If your boss came to you and was like, here's the shelves, here's how you do it, put it on the wall, and we're going to display items. And you're like, I tried it and it didn't work. Like, it didn't work. I can't get the shelves up and I can't display the items. What the heck would happen? Well, chances are you would probably not do that. You would probably go ask somebody, you would probably figure out a way, you'd get creative, you'd be resourceful, and you'd make it happen. And that's the same thing for this business. There's going to be things you try that you're like, okay, she literally told me, ask like this, comment like this, and post, and it's just not working. Okay, well then try it again, try it in a new way, ask someone else and figure it out. But these are the things that I have tried when things have not worked, that have ended up producing results. And the part that I'm trying to stress with that is there's nothing in this business that doesn't work for you that's working for other people. There's nothing, like, there's nothing that you can try that I'm like, I do this, Alyssa does this, the people who make $100,000 do this, like everyone's doing it, and you try it and you're like, it doesn't work. No, it will work for you if you work it. There's no special sauce, no one else is a unicorn, so there might be something that we can tweak. So I wanted to talk about Facebook. Facebook is something that it's kind of like a game. You have to be active with it. You have to really pay attention to what you're doing in order to be seen and in order for like you to see other people even. So these are some ways that you can utilize the Facebook algorithms. This is things, again, that we've learned on Zooms, that people have talked about, that I have utilized, and it's worked. So when you're posting to your Facebook, I feel like Instagram is so different because Instagram kind of has to be a little bit prettier, has to be a little bit not like super aesthetic, but kind of has to have a flow to it, or else people just aren't going to pay attention. Where Facebook is a little bit different. Like, you can put up a status with no picture and people will still pay attention, right? Where Instagram, you have to put a little bit more work into it. So with Facebook, what I want you to think about, and with Instagram really, is how do you want to be seen? Like, how do you want people to see you? What things do you like watching? Like, are you somebody that absolutely loves watching different influencers that share X, Y, and Z? What are they sharing? Honestly, the people that I follow and that I love watching, they sell things, but I don't even feel sold to because I love watching their life. Like I love watching their relationship with their husband, what they make for dinner, how their kids are funny. Like I'm not even paying attention. And then they'll like drop a random code for something. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to buy that because if she loves it, I'm going to love it. And I love her. So this is going to work perfectly. So when you're looking at it that way, what do you have to bring to the table and how can you portray that in the best sense? Like if you look at your Facebook page, are you posting the same thing every single day? Are you only posting product? Are you only posting your dog? Are you only posting your significant other? Like what are you posting and why do you think people care about that? And can you like portray that in a way that forms a whole entire brand for yourself? Or is like all that you're posting about your husband? Like if every day I posted a picture of Mitchell, it would lose its like, I don't know, people wouldn't care, right? Like, okay, great, you're still married. We see this guy every single day. What's happening? But if I post a picture of Mitchell and I post what we're doing, and I'm going to post a little bit about the business and I'm posting about the product and how all of that enhances our overall lifestyle, then it makes sense. So, yeah, I want you to think about that because I think sometimes we look at our like task list and we're like, freaking crushed it, like posted a product, posted a opportunity, all the things, and no one wanted it. Well, no one even knows who you are. No one knows what you're doing, and no one knows why this would bring value to their life. So that's up to you to share that with them. So I want to encourage you to honestly take a look or ask your upline or ask a sideline, like, can you go look at my feed? What am I talking about all the time? Where do you think I could pivot? Alyssa and I have done that with each other over and over again. Like, can you go look at it? Does it even look like bright enough that people would click on it? Like, go look. So I think that's a really good piece of advice. But when you're going through and posting anything, you need to like kind of wake up your Facebook. So if you don't interact with your network, they won't interact with you, not because they don't want to, but because they won't see it. So Facebook shows your post to a very limited amount of people every single day. If you have 100 friends, they're going to show it to 10 of those 100 friends if you're lucky. So some posts that you put up gets 0 likes, 0 comments because barely anybody saw them. So a really good tip is every single day you need to interact with your network. This is something you can do when you're tired. This is something you can do before bed, but I really like doing this before I post. So this is a task I do every day before I post. So it doesn't matter what time I'm going to post in the day. I'm going to go to my Facebook and I'm going to go to the top where all the story slides are, and I'm going to watch them and not only just like them, but I'm going to send back messages with whatever they're posting about. So people are posting about their dog. Oh my gosh, I love your dog. What breed is that dog? Or whatever. How old is your puppy? I have a cat that's like 17 pounds. Like, just talk to people. It's okay. They won't bite. Chances are you'll get in some really interesting conversation. So interact with those people, send some love, be authentic on your feed. And then the other thing that I do is I go to my friends list and I'll interact with my friends list. The reason why I do this is because people on my stories are people that already will probably see my posts because I'm seeing theirs. So if I go to my friends list, I might mess up the algorithm a little bit. So I'll just go to like the top and go all the way down alphabetical, not like the default, or go like oldest to newest or newest to oldest, however you want to do it, and just like take at least 10 minutes and authentically comment and like and ask questions on their comments or on their photos so that they comment back, because Facebook goes, oh, these people are friends. So when you post, they're going to at least show your post to the other person. So that is number one thing. Wake up your feed before you post. This is the same thing for Instagram. Do it every single day. Even before you make a story, go and just love on some people's stuff. It doesn't have to be a long time. It doesn't have to be inauthentic. Seriously, just take time to check out people's things and then go post, and your story views like go through the roof when you do this, because Instagram loves that you're using the app and loves that you're engaging with other people. And make sure that you're adding every single day too. But if your friend requests get more than your friends on Facebook, it looks suspicious, and Facebook apparently slows down your algorithms. So you can actually go into your friends list and you can go to your friend requests and unrequest people's friend requests, like your friend request to them. So if you sent 1 million on a giveaway post and 2 people added you back, you still have 1 million people that have not, but your friend request is still out there. So if you go through, you can actually eliminate all of those. And I can show you how to do that if you don't know how to do that later. And that's one thing that really helps too. And then another thing with posting content that's interesting. I was actually talking to Cheyenne about this a little while ago because I think you kind of know on your feed what people like to see. Like people love to see pregnancy things. This is what I'm learning. People love to see like engagement things or wedding things or, you know, like big life events. Now, we don't always have big life events to share, but even if you've had a big life event, like if you got married 10 years ago and you repost your wedding photo, people are going to lose their minds every single time. People love that stuff. So if you have zero engagement, go engage and then post something that you know is like a fan favorite. Figure out what that is for your people, but I feel like it's kind of the same for all of us, especially if we have majority women on our page, something like that, people eat it up, and then let the comments build. But while people are commenting, this goes with anything, comment back to them immediately. So if I post something and Alyssa comments 2 seconds later, I know she's boosting my post. So I'm going to comment back probably a GIF or something along those lines and a long response like, oh my gosh, you're the best ever. Thank you for supporting me. Like something like that. Because then Facebook is like, oh, people are engaging on this post. So then it'll show it to more people. And then people comment, you respond right away, comment back to them, and then it shows it to more people. This is huge, like huge, huge, huge. Because then what I've been doing is I'll post a bump picture right now with being pregnant. Before this, obviously wasn't pregnant, did not have any life events happening for many, many years. So I would post like a picture with my husband in it. That always goes nuts. I call him my clickbait. Or I would post like a picture on a beach, like something like people like to go do, like to go see, a picture at a coffee shop that's like super aesthetic. People love that. I would post something like that, let it blow up. And then every single person that comments, I message them and say, hey, I have a question for you. It's not to buy anything. And they're like, oh my gosh, what's your question? Also, congratulations on the pregnancy. I'm like, oh, thanks. I feel so awkward asking you. Do you want to be a part of my giveaway? And then they host a post for me. So not only are they interacting with my feed, I'm messaging them, they're messaging me back. Facebook is like, holy crap, these people are best friends. So they're going to continue seeing your stuff. So that's a couple of things that I do on Facebook all the time. I have like a huge list here, but Alyssa, do you want to come in or we're just going to kind of ping pong this?
I feel like we do everything the same. And you're covering so many awesome things. I was just going to say something, a really cool little feature that Instagram just introduced this past week is now on stories. You can love the people's posts. Like, so what I do when I'm engaging on Instagram, because Britt's covering so much of Facebook, but can you guys hear me okay? I feel like
you're good.
Okay, perfect. I was like, I feel like I hear something. Oh, it's my phone. Sorry. A video is playing. So I was going to show you guys. It's like, what is playing so low? Okay, so when you're going to engage on Instagram, and I'm like Britt with this. So before you post to your stories or before you post to your wall, go and engage for like 10, 15 minutes. And the way that I'll do that is on Instagram, what I like to do is I'll scroll all the way back to the stories and I'll work my way forward just because those people aren't necessarily seeing your things just because they're so far back in your algorithms. So you can just click on it and whatever this person is down here, you can see there's like a little heart. So you can love on it. You can say, oh my gosh, that looks beautiful. Where are you traveling to? Like just those small little things to boost it. But at the same time, you can also just love it. Go to their feed, see if there's a new recent photo that you can comment on or love and continue on. And I try to do even if you don't want to set a particular time, because I like to call it rapid fire and you just go crazy with the engaging and complimenting and asking questions. Aim to get like 10 to 20 out when you sit to do that. It shouldn't take long. It literally should take less than 5 minutes, to be honest. You don't have to put that much thought into it. And then what I'll do is check on any recent posts that I did to see if there's any fresh comments that I missed, or even host a post, and I'll go wake those up as well, just to get conversations flowing in my inbox, as well as just it shows the algorithm world, the system, that you are active and that you're present. So it's going to fire off your post to so many more people when you do make a post or when you do get into your stories. So that's all I wanted to say there.
That's perfect. And I think when you look at social media a little bit as a game, but also as your business, then you become more creative. When you look at it as like something that you're hoping that people will affirm something in you, that they're going to just like be your biggest cheerleader, then it can be very discouraging very quickly, especially if you're posting content no one's seeing, or the content that people are seeing, you're not getting a lot of engagement with, or maybe you're having a whole bunch of like rude conversations or whatever. I think if you look at it as a business, no matter what business you did, like I know there's some of you that have been business owners on this Zoom, you know, you're never going to have 100% like happy people all the time, right? And assuming that is just, it's just foolish. You're going to be disappointed. So if you look at it like a business, you're like, today was pretty good. I only had a couple rude customers. Like, anytime that that happens anywhere else, we don't quit our jobs. But with this, it's instantly like, oh my gosh, no one wants this and everyone thinks this is a scam. And it's like, no, this is still your business and you're gonna do great. So just take a deep breath. And I hope that these kind of give you those tools, like Alyssa said, like go and interact on purpose. How empowering is that? That you're not just sitting there wasting scrolling. Like, so much easier. So look at it as a business, and I think all of this will make sense. So another thing that I wrote down all the things that I do, but there's a lot that I want to talk about. Another thing that you can do to boost your algorithms when you're posting to your feed, I feel like Facebook too, like for the younger generation, Facebook is something that like we kind of have to build, because a lot of us aren't even on Facebook. Like my husband doesn't even have a Facebook, like not interested. I feel like Instagram is a lot less political. Instagram is a lot less like, I don't know. I feel like people are just like more like real on there. Stories are better, you know? Facebook, I don't even think to look at stories. I'm just on my feed. And I feel like it's something that we kind of have to learn to do. So if you're maybe just starting out and your Instagram is really active, but your Facebook, you're like, I have not even posted on there in years. This is something that you can do all the time, that no matter where you're at in your business, no matter where you're at and you're growing, you can get people to interact with. And that's by asking questions. This is something we do on Instagram all the time in our stories, but on Facebook, you can do this on your feed. So something super simple like, do you like folding your towels this way or this way, and showing pictures? There's so many. Like, what's your favorite pizza topping? Like for me, that makes me like, oh my gosh, I would rather die than post things like that all the time. But we do it on Facebook. Yeah, this or that. On Instagram, we do it all the time. Like this or that vacation edition. Like, would you rather sandy or, you know, mountains or whatever? But then on Facebook, it's like, oh my gosh, what like a weird status for me to post. How is this going to grow anything? But people love it, and people love giving their opinions on here. Now, again, any post that you do, the way to keep it active is people post. So if you say, what's your favorite ice cream topping, chocolate chips or sprinkles? If you put those two up there and people are like, sprinkles, chocolate chips, for the first few, respond back and be like, oh my gosh, I love chocolate chips, or oh yeah, sprinkles are great, whatever, it doesn't matter, but comment back to them, because then Facebook will keep your post viewable to more people. So that's with anything, you guys, whether it's a picture of something that you love, very personal, your family, whether it's a hosted post you put up, a product post, anything, respond back to comments immediately. That will always do you wonders. But also think about when you're responding, how many you're doing, and if they're not building, pay attention to it. Like if you post something and no one's commenting on it, and then you have one person comment, make sure you comment back, maybe asking them a question, even like, oh my gosh, I love chocolate chips too, like what's your favorite ice cream flavor, or whatever. If you stay in that line, then they'll have to answer. So like even things like that, like just think, the more comments and the more you're talking on your post and other people are talking on your post, the more people will see it, because Facebook goes, oh, this post is still active. So they'll like send it out to more people, because essentially you post, Facebook shows it to a little group, sees if anyone likes it, a bigger group sees if anyone likes it, and then if lots of people are loving it, they'll show it to even more, and then those are going to be the posts that just feel like they have so many comments. And it's not because more people like it, it's just because more people were able to see it. And you can totally cheat the system and comment on your own stuff. Another thing too is Facebook created GIFs on their app, and they love when you favorite things that they created. So if you are finding that your comments are low, dropping a GIF or a GIF or whatever they're called in the comments is something that is so huge. And Ariane showed us this, and I've been doing it ever since she showed it. And every single post that I put one in, I'm like, this is 10 times better off. Like Facebook actually does favor them. So this works. This is something I've been doing all the time. Don't go like ham and put like a GIF in every single post you ever put ever on all your things. Facebook might catch on to that. But like if I commented on Alyssa's post, she could comment back a GIF, a funny GIF, whatever. Like there's so many on there. And then I would comment back a GIF. That boosted her post way up, like way up, because we're both using it. So keep that in mind. And if you see other distributors on here, like other team members, drop a GIF on their posts, like help each other out too, because I think that's super important. So that's a way that you can wake up your posts. And then the other thing is when you are messaging people for host to post, this is one thing that I was like, when I'm thinking about host to post, I feel like there's so many ways that you can boost it and like play with it and all the things. But when you're messaging people on there, make sure you're not messaging people that aren't your friends. That's another thing. If you start messaging a bunch of people you're not friends with, Facebook will also slow down your counts, slow down your views, all the things, because it looks like you're just a random spammer messaging a whole bunch of people you're not friends with. Again, Facebook wants you to see, same with Instagram, that you're friends with these people. That's why you're messaging them. That's why they show the posts. So one other thing we're talking about when it comes to host to post, I think like I've been hearing a lot of you get like the same thing of like, okay, I posted a lot of the cleanse. I know you said the cleanse worked for you, but it's not working for me. Give me another post. And there's ways to kind of like tweak even just the same old post to post that you do all the time. So for me, I really love the cleanse. This is literally what I sell all the time. I sell cleanse TFX on repeat. Okay. So you might have something that you really love, but this is one that I love because I feel like the cleanse host to post is so easy to upgrade to literally anything. Like you can get them keto coffee, you can get them the gummies, you can get all the things. If they just want gut health, cleanse, greens, like it's so easy to kind of modify to them. But if I'm putting up too many cleanse host posts, I notice this every single time. If I'm getting a boatload of them up, Facebook will stop showing them to people. Like I feel like no one sees them. These are people that had 1 million posts on their, or 1 million views on their last post, and then they post for me and get nothing. So what I have learned is if you are doing the same host post over and over, Facebook will start recognizing that you're doing the same post over and over. And people are posting for you, you're clicking on it, you're saving it. They catch on to the rhythm if you're really like busting your butt. So a way to get out of this is even in our boards, we have quite a few different pictures for the cleanse host to post. So when you're sending it out, if you're sending the same picture over and over, you're finding that you're not really getting much engagement, switch up the picture that you use. So send one person like the lemon one, another person the one with lavender, another person the one with blackberries, switch it up, same post, same wording, all the things. And then don't save it to your collection right away. So Facebook doesn't think you have anything to do with it. So when you send it to that person, write down their name, make sure you know they posted it, check mark that they like posted it for you, but leave it like overnight or for 6 hours at least, and then go and save it after that 6 hours. And it just like fights the algorithm. All of a sudden, all these people have commented and it's no better of a post. It's not even a different post, but Facebook isn't flagging it. So that's something that I've been doing quite a bit lately and finding that it's working really well. And then after I post it, I'll drop a before and after photo, whether there's no comments or there's 10 comments, and it's my personal before and after photo. So if you have a before and after photo of you, like especially with the cleanse, the great thing is it's not really weight loss. It's just bloat. So even if you are at a weight that you absolutely love, this is something that you can buy and use, and it'll still help you debloat. You'll get before and after photos no matter what size you are, and then you're able to put that in and say my personal before and after photos. And I feel like that really helps. So I put a before and after photo. You can also use mine if you don't have your own, and comment on it right away. And then after that, when you're adding people back, make sure you're commenting that you're adding them. So like I said before, it's like they comment, you comment, they comment, you comment. So that's like my favorite with host to post. Do you have anything to add to that?
You're literally, I feel like we're the same person. I don't know. I think while we're talking about host to post, and I mentioned this to Britt because it was a common thread in a lot of conversations I had this week. So I want to mention it to you guys because maybe you're running into it too, but you're nervous to ask, or you just feel like you're the only one it's happening to. You're going to have people who say they don't feel comfortable sharing host a post for you, especially if it's to do with weight loss. Like if it's to do with the cleanse or to do with the gummies, you're going to run into that wall. Some people are very weird about either posting a product they've never used before, or they just are self-conscious to post about a weight loss product. That's okay, you guys. You have other options, and you don't have to get defensive or feel awkward in those conversations or situations when someone's like, no, thanks. I always say that's no problem. I actually have a few other posts. If you're still interested in entering the giveaway, I have a post about hair vitamins. I have a post about the giveaway itself. And I also have a business post. Are any of those of interest to you at all? So you just present them with another option. And if they say no to that, that's totally okay. And you're going to have people that don't want to post, period. That's okay. You just move on to the next one. So just remember, you always have options to present until it's an absolute no. And even then, that's totally okay too. So that's more so something I just wanted to share with host to post as you're working it.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think that comes back to just being solution minded and not feeling like anything is really a dead end. Like, especially if you first started or you've been in for a while, but you're coming up against the same thing. I think it's very important to look at it with a question in mind that you're trying to answer. If you look at it as, oh my gosh, no one likes these giveaways and blah, 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 and all the excuses, like, we've all even said them in our own brains. I don't even have to give you an example. If you look at it like that, you're always going to feel like, oh my gosh, this is so much work. Why am I doing this? If you look at it as, that's okay, we have options. These are your options. Would you like that? Yes or no? Okay, great. And then your job is not to convince people. Your job is to give them the information. And if they want to be a part of it, they will. And if they don't, that's okay too. Even with host to post, you are offering them $1,000 to help you out, essentially. And if they want to be a part of that, great. If they're not comfortable, that's okay. But if people say, like she said, like, I'm not comfortable with whatever, or I don't want to share that post, be solution minded. How can you make this work for them? And if they don't want to, that's okay. The other thing we've been getting quite a bit of is you guys texting us saying, what the heck do I say to this person when they say, like, what are these giveaways about anyways? Or why do you do them? Are you trying to grow a business or whatever? I'm going to share a script in the Boom Tribe chat because I've typed it out so many times this week that I'm like, why do I not have this just saved somewhere? But basically what I say, you guys, is we do these, I say me and a group of girls put together money to be able to give back to anybody that helps us grow our businesses and grow our networks. So the post is going to be about my 2-day detox. It's absolutely amazing. If you would like a chance to win $1,000, I would so appreciate you sharing for me. Like, I lay it all out. I'm not like, oh yeah, I'm trying to grow something. And like, I'm not embarrassed. If you want to post, you can post. And if you're not, that's okay. And I just spell it all out. And then if they don't want to, at least they have the information. And if they do want to, it's going to be like, you're so transparent with them. The chances are after that, because now they've posted. So the next step after they post is to ask them, hey, have you ever thought about making money off of social media? You've already been so transparent with them. I feel like the next steps are so easy because I don't know, you're just open. And you also took something from someone from the defensive to like, oh yeah, sure. Okay. I'll share. That sounds fine. Or if they don't want to, that's great too. Then you can get them out of your network and keep moving. We're just kind of ping-ponging, so I don't know if you have
We totally are.
that you want to share. I don't want to cut you off.
No, you're good. You guys, I'm gonna make a little recommendation here for you with a book to read that I just started, and it's so freaking good. And this business is going to be a huge part about mindset, because a lot of what Britt's sharing tonight is a potential for you to hit roadblocks where you're going to feel discouraged, and you're probably, I know when I started and I'd run into these conversations, it would shut me down completely because I just felt awkward. And I don't want you guys to feel this way. I want you to have that business mindset and realize you joined this business because you wanted to accomplish something with it. It wasn't because you were thinking that people were going to say no or people were going to say yes. You have you signed with a goal in mind to accomplish. And you need to realize at the end of the day, the reason why you're going to win or the reason why you're going to lose is strictly because of you. It's not because of the yeses you're getting and the nos you're getting. It's because of your determination to keep going. And this book I'm reading right now, it's called The Unforgiving Race to Greatness, Winning. And it's by Tim Grover. And Joel Dunn talked about it at conference. So I decided to go pick it up and I just started it today. But I was like, oh my goodness, this is so good. But this one quote really stuck out to me. And it said, winning has a million ways to stop you if you don't have the resilience to fight back. I was like, oh my gosh, that gave me goosebumps when I read it, because if you're wanting to win at life and you're wanting to pursue, it doesn't even matter if it's this business, whatever it is that you're doing, if you are going to let those setbacks get in your way of pushing forward, breaking down those walls, climbing over the walls, doing whatever the heck you have to do, you're going to fail every single time. If you choose to give up, you're going to fail every single time. So like Britt's talking about, just have that creative mindset that when you hit that wall, you're going to figure out, how can I get over it? How can I get to the next level? How can I give them a different script? How can I give them a different post? Whatever the case is, you just keep going and you're going to get into a groove. And now that I've been in the business for 4 years, Britt's been in the business for 3 years, we've developed this mindset that those no's don't bother us like they used to. But you just have to hold on to the reason why you're working on that KPI every single day, the reason why these tasks are so important, and skipping over them can be detrimental to the first half that you worked on that day. So just remember, everything is just a well-oiled machine. And if you keep working it and you stay consistent, because again, the algorithms are all about consistency. It's not, I worked my business today, I'm going to work it again next week. You're not going to see any results from that. You might sign a customer or two, especially if you're new, but if you've been in for a while, consistency is absolutely key. So.
And it's cool too, if you have a really big goal in mind, like I know a lot of you right now are like, I need this because of, and it's not like a tiny thing. It's like, I want to fill in the blank. And when you have that big goal in mind, you're going to have a lot of pushback because you're going to do something really, really incredible for you, for your family, for others. Like you're about to help a lot of people by getting to where you need to go to reach that goal. And you're going to feel pushback. So don't be like scared when you feel it. It like kind of gets me excited now when everything's going to crap. Like I'm like, holy this could not get any worse. And then I go, well, it's time to get rich. Like that's what's going to happen. It means that you're growing, and it means that you're about to do something that not only is going to impact you, but it's going to impact a lot of people. And especially if you're working right now towards something and you're in a position where life's really stressful at the moment, for whatever reason, it could be financial, it could be environmental, like relationship, whatever. If you're going through that season of your life and this business doesn't like bring you a little sense of excitement that it can support you in that season, then try to shift your mindset. Because whenever I'm going through something crazy or finances are tough or whatever, I'm like, okay, this is hard, but you know what I do know how to do? I'm going to sign 1 business partner and 4 customers and get a $200 bonus. That's something I can control. Let's do it. And then we get to work. So that's another thing. If you look at the problems, your problems are going to grow. If you look at the solutions, you're going to find a lot of really great solutions, and you're going to surprise yourself with how creative you are in it too. So when you're going through this, like we didn't find these things out, like Alyssa, like she said, we're doing the same things. This is nothing new. This isn't that creative. This isn't that inventive. These are things other leaders have taught us too. When you're doing all of these things, you're going to find that you get results when you're looking for the results. Like, especially if you're going to interact on posts, like if you're interacting on posts, hating the fact that you're interacting on these posts, you're probably going to do a really crappy job of it, right? Like no one's going to answer you because you sound like Eeyore. But if you're doing it and you're like, no, this is going to produce something for me and my family, I'm going to just put a smile on someone else's face today. That's what I need to do. And you start doing it. Not only will it shift your mood, but it's going to impact so many other people and get you closer to where you need to go. And you're going to be creative. So another thing with, like she said, like making sure that you're really doing all of the things all the time. It's so important. But one of the things that I find super important is with your mindset, like she was saying, growing intentionally, like buy that book, read the book, move forward. How hard is that for us to do? We all self-sabotage more than we don't. I think that that's a very normal human nature thing to do. So to figure out what your pattern is, like for me, if I'm working and I have something distracting like a TV on, I work so much slower. I just do. I'm not as creative and I work slower. Some of you that might not really bother you at all. But if I like sit down and have no music or have like a podcast, I feel like I'm a speed machine. And then I put on a TV show. I'm like, oh, this will be fine. I'll just send out some messages while I watch this movie and take like 2 times longer. Like I could have done this in half the time because my brain can't do both. So figure out what your thing is. Like if you have kids screaming, running around, and you're like, I cannot send out messages while they're screaming and running around, then figure out a task that you can do while they're screaming and running around. And then when they have a nap, that's your message time. Like that's your time to crush it. And the only way you'll figure that out is if you're in that solution minded mindset. Instead of blaming, instead of feeling like a victim to your situation, to your circumstance, you're not, and everything in this business is figure outable. And I think the cool thing with Alyssa being in for as long as she has, me being in for as long as I have, there's others of you that have been in here for a long time too, is you know what works and what doesn't. But are you doing the things that don't work still? Because I think that's when you have to kind of like look at yourself and being like, why am I posting the same thing on my feed when literally not one person has ever liked it? Why am I doing that? It's time to pivot. So take inspiration from other people, look at what you like to watch and try to replicate it and have fun with it. I've been talking to a lot of you about showing yourself in your stories. And I kind of feel like we said, like you have to wake up your Facebook, you have to wake up your Instagram before you post, but also try to add value to the people that see your posts by being authentic and by like kind of proving yourself a little bit of they came in from a host to post. Maybe it was a cleanse, maybe it was an opportunity, whatever. If they come in and you never post anything again, why would they remember you? And then you're messaging them like, hey, are you interested in this product? And they're like, I don't remember talking to this girl. No, I'm good. Thank you so much. But if you are that person that's constantly posting, you're posting quality content, you're talking in your stories about what you're doing, chances are they're probably going to at least see a few of them. So when you message them, you're not a total stranger. And when I joined Alyssa, this is something that I wanted to share too. When I joined Alyssa, I knew who she was, meaning I knew of her, but I didn't know her. But when I joined her, I felt like I knew her just from following her because of the content that she put out. Not all of it's perfect, not all of it's like curated for a specific audience, for a specific thing. I just loved watching her at that time make a smoothie before she left for work. Like, how uninteresting do we feel like that is? Like, for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm making another story doing this, but I would watch it every day. That's what we do as humans. I watch the same influencers every single day just because I like what they post. They don't do anything amazing. They live a normal life with their 3 kids and like, so if you're feeling like I have nothing to share and the only thing you're sharing about is the business, then I would challenge you to just like start sharing random things that you're doing throughout the day and then be that like prove yourself to your audience of, and I use these products and they really work for me and I love them. And just show that in your feed too. And I think too, not only like your algorithm is you got those people into your network from host to post, you're interacting with them, they're seeing your stuff, but then they're interested in your stuff. If you get all of these people into your network and you post nothing, there's literally no point. Or if you get all of them into your network and you post the same thing every single day, there's no point. Or all of them into your network and you don't ever offer anything to them, there's no point. That's like opening a store and not putting any clothes in your store. It doesn't make sense. So make sure that you are really being authentic to who you are, sharing, but like pushing yourself a little bit. Like it's not comfortable to do that. But I know when I started doing that, I was like, oh, people are actually interested in the most boring things too. Perfect. Like let's all hang out. So I hope this encourages you guys. I feel like the simple steps that we do every single day are like hard for me to even remember because it's been so habitual, but I know that like starting it was so intentional. Like even commenting back right away, I had to do that because I was having no comments on my posts. Like I remember messaging Alyssa, I don't even know how long this was, maybe like a year ago, being like, I think I cracked the code. I finally have people commenting on my things. This is after me being in the business for like a year, just trial and error, trying to figure out what to post. So this might not like click right away and happen right away, but even just like getting plugged in, asking questions, I think, is so important. And when you're working on your mindset too, you're listening to the podcast, you're doing all the things, don't forget to hop onto Zooms. I think that this is something that I felt like there used to be so much more of. I lived on Zoom when I was promoting to Double Diamond. This was something that I literally would just watch on repeat because I didn't have a brain cell for where I wanted to go, meaning I couldn't even comprehend it. I didn't know how to make social media a business. I didn't know how to post. I didn't know how to talk on my stories. So I made myself hang out with people that did. These aren't people that I know. These aren't people that I've ever talked to, but they're people that I would follow in the business. I would look up their Zooms and I would watch them. But the great thing is we have access to so many leaders now that we actually have like weekly Zooms that you can hop on. So even if you're busy and you need to turn off your camera and give your kids a bath at the same time, just know even hearing it that way will start to feed that belief in you that you can do it too. So I really encourage you to do that as well.
I love it. I echo your echo. It's just like, it's so true, you guys. You push through all those insecurities, all the things. You're gonna find your rhythm. And a little something about what Britt's sharing with like sharing in your stories and connecting people. Like she said, and I'm going to push this as much as I can. Don't just be a person who just shares slides and slides and slides of products in the business. You're going to notice in the bottom corner how many views you're getting. And I promise if you keep track of when you're sharing life and you're sharing maybe how you're working your business and roaming through it, like the amount of times I just take boomerangs as I'm walking outside, going to the post box, going grocery shopping, all the random things you don't even have to talk about the business or the products constantly, but you're dripping it into your life, you're going to notice those views going up. And that's when people start really trusting you because it's like, oh, she's a normal person. She's using these products, whatever the case is. Even if you're dripping slides into that, people just feel like they're connecting with you so much more. And like Britt said, like you can follow a blogger and you're going to want to buy everything they share because you're just so connected to them as a person and you love them as a person and you don't even know why. But yeah, we just love to, I don't know, us people just love to watch the most random things. Like I'll watch people paint their nails on Instagram. Like I don't even know. It's crazy. So that's how people build connection. It's doing those small little mundane things every single day. And I kind of like to treat my business. I don't know if maybe I'm too old. Did you guys have Tamagotchis when you were young? Like think of this business like a Tamagotchi of us. You have to check in all the time. Otherwise it's dying, it's crapping, it's doing the things. Just make sure you're checking in every single day. But no, Britt, I feel like you covered absolutely everything. So I'm just going to end up reiterating everything. So you guys, unless Britt, do you have anything else you want to share before we shut this down?
You just made me think of this when you're saying share life. Another thing that I think people really like to see is the process. So don't worry about if it's not a pretty picture at the end. Like if you're trying to lose weight right now, show now. Like just guys, I'm starting this. Like I watch her name's Jill. She's one of are you watching her too? I'm obsessed with her stories because I'm so invested in her weight loss journey. She literally put on these jeans last week. She's been using our products. They didn't do up and now they do in 1 week. And I would have never watched that if she was just trying to act like she was, had it all together. And then she just takes these products and they just work magically. Like, no, she shares all the process and I love watching it. And I'm in this business, you guys. So imagine how many customers she signs just from that. So if you are like working towards something like growing out your hair or maybe like your gut health and you just like talk about how your gut health is so much better, people want that. If you have a weight loss goal, like I'm really excited for once this baby comes because I get to relearn my entire body and get to know myself on a whole new level. And I have no idea what to expect. But talking about that even now, I have moms swiping up on my stories saying, I'm so excited to follow on your journey. Postpartum was nuts for me, but I'm 2 months out. I'm feeling so much better. And they're sharing their stories with me. That's a level we can connect on because I'm not saying, I'm so excited for when I push this baby out. I'm perfectly normal and just in shape. Like I'm already like, guys, this is going to be a struggle, but I'll share it. And you're going to start connecting with people that way. So don't feel like you can't show the messy middle and you just have to show the end. No one's going to care about the end if they don't know the process. So whether that's your business, whether that's a product, like even if you have a goal right now to sign 4 customers and a distributor, talk about it. Like get on your story and be like, okay, guys, this is so vulnerable, but I just started my business and I'm working towards this huge goal. I have products that not only I'm obsessed with, but so many others are obsessed with. And I'm looking for 4 people to help me out by reviewing them. Like message me really quick. I know these spots are going to go fast. They're so good. Be excited about it. And people will literally sign up just because you're excited. They won't even care what the product is. That's literally how I got my first customers. And I know that it works. So just allow yourself to show the process and then shout out your wins. Shout out when you're close, but you don't quite get there. Like just be okay with showing people along the way too. And I feel like that's a really big thing. Let me check the chat and see how, wow, I really can't see without my glasses. How do you delete friend requests? I will send a video in Boom Tribe so that you can reference it after. So you can just like save it and reference it. Do you guys have any other questions? Feel free to drop them in the chat if you do. I feel like they'll probably come up this week too, but just know that everything you're coming up against, if it's nobody seeing your post, no one's commenting, your follow-ups aren't working, whatever it is, just know there's a solution. So instead of messaging your upline saying, my follow-ups don't work, say, hey, what message are you sending for follow-ups that are getting you the results that you're looking for? Always ask a question. And not only as a leader does that like make me so excited that you're trying to figure it out, but I also feel like it helps kind of train your brain to look for a solution because you might know the answer. And I know for me, when I start, like even the other day, I posted all of these host posts. I got up like 12 or 13 host posts and not one of them had a comment on them. I was like, wow, what a weird day. I was like, what am I doing differently today than I did yesterday to not get any comments? It's like, oh, I'm saving them immediately. So then I was like, okay, well, I just messed that up. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to get 5 more host posts up and not save them till tomorrow. That's what I did. Not only did I do that, but I boosted all of them. I went in and dropped a GIF and a before and after in each of the host posts. Then I left them, I stopped looking at them, and the next day I woke up and they had comments. So instead of looking at it going, my host post didn't work today, I'm like, what did I do differently? Like, why isn't this working? So you'll surprise yourself with what you know how to do as well. But I think that's all I have. You're good too. Thanks for hopping on, you guys. I appreciate you showing up. Thank you for watching the recording. If you have questions, please ask and let us know what you want to cover in our next Zoom. Like we have some people on our team right now, as you guys can see in the chat, that are absolutely killing it. So we're really hoping to bring some of you on here too to share your tips so that you don't just have to listen to us all the time. But if there's anything you want us to talk about, please let us know. Awesome. Okay, bye guys.